What's going on, guys? Zach Ebnesh here, Underground Strength Gym, undergroundstrengthcoach.com, brought to you by my friends at Sorenex.com. I want to talk to you about maxing out with teenagers / high school athletes. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a full-time high school strength coach and also am the owner of the Underground Strength Gym. So I've been full-time with the Underground since 2002. And at the high school, coaching 150 to 200 athletes a day. And today was yet another experience of kids when they want to kind of veer from the program that I have for them, where it might talk about benching for sets of 4, squatting for sets of 3 or sets of 6. And then you see kids saying, well, I want to try to max out today. And sometimes the kids who are maxing out or telling me they're going to max out, they say they do that with their private coach, which I put in quotations, which honestly is sometimes disappointing. So today I had a kid tell me that he maxed out on squats at 195. And when I saw him squatting, I said, let's start with the bar. Show me 10 reps with the empty bar. His stance was too wide. His feet were turned out extremely wide, which showed a struggle with his hip and ankle mobility. So from there, we brought his stance in a little bit. Then we slowed it down. We went with a quarter on each side, 5 reps. Then we added a 10. The 95 pounds looked good. I said, you're going to do 5 reps with 115. His setup was even incorrect. He rushed getting under the bar. He was not centered. So coming from a kid who's telling me he's doing a 1 rep max at 195 with a private coach and he's struggling with technique, to me, that's when I get disappointed in other coaches, because we have to guard our keep. We need to educate the kids so that if you get hit by a bus tomorrow, these kids have a strong understanding of training. When a kid tells me he's got a private coach and I see him benching with the wrist bent back, bouncing off his chest, humping the ceiling while benching, squatting halfway down, or struggling to squat and losing their footing with a weight that's, close to 50% shy of what they said they did for a 1 rep max with their private coach, I have a problem with that. So let's talk about who is in the green, who has the green light to test themselves out on a hard 1 rep set for one of the big lifts, such as the squat, bench, deadlift, and even the clean. And I know this was very popular with that program, Bigger, Stronger, Faster. And I'm sure I'll get a lot of flack for this. But being around strength training and powerlifting and weightlifting since, the age of 13, I have seen strength athletes and powerlifters train. And of course, I've done it. And here's what I'm going to start with. Number 1, we need technical proficiency. If somebody is not great at technique, then why the F does that athlete get the green light to hit a heavy 1 rep? Not even a 1 rep max, but to go up to a hard 1 rep set. He or she does not have the green light. They don't have technical proficiency. They lack technical skill. And that being said, those athletes need to have sub-max efforts. They always need to leave a rep in the tank, and they shouldn't do sets of 1 unless it's a bunch of technical sets. Preferably, we would bump up the reps a little bit, more of like cluster sets, 5 sets of 5, 8 sets of 3, 7 sets of 2, where the technique is perfect. The reps are not too high where they get fatigued on those big lifts. So number 1, technique. Number 2, mindset, mentality. This is something that many novice athletes, novice lifters don't have. When you're going for a hard 1 rep set, even if it's not your max, it's above 90%, above 85%, you need the mentality of knowing that when things get hard, you're supposed to maintain technique, not lose it. For example, I start benching. I'm going to do a set of 5. My 2nd rep starts getting hard. My 3rd rep really hard. I start to struggle. Now on my 4th rep, instead of maintaining technique, my one leg shoots out and it's no longer driving into the floor. I start to squirm. One wrist is bent. One elbow is in. One elbow is out. I have lost technique. Why? because I'm a novice. I'm a beginner. I don't know how to maintain technique during the difficult scenario. Now, if we look at how that has a carryover to sports and sport performance in general, I ask athletes, you're a football player. Try running down the field incorrectly. Try swinging your arms weird and not lifting your knees. Or if you're a wrestler, try getting in your stance with straight legs or shooting a takedown with your head down and your back in a shitty position. Well, you wouldn't do it because it reduces and almost eliminates your chances of scoring a takedown, gaining yardage on the football field. Try shooting a basketball the wrong way. Try doing anything with incorrect technique, and now you're less efficient. You're overall less effective. You're not producing as much power. And so strength training is about maintaining position, which is very much the same in much sports, especially contact combative sports. If I'm out of position, the opposition has a better chance of getting the ball from me, tackling me, catching me, taking me down, so on and so forth. So for the coaches out there, you should not be allowing kids to test their 1 rep max. What you can do is something that's safer, something like a 5-3-1 program where they're never really hitting 100%. They have this RPE or this percent based. I know when Jim Wendler is doing his program, the kids get cards pre-printed with the weights. And he always tells me, he goes, we don't lift that heavy. A kid might work with 315 or 365 on a trap bar, but if we were to test him on the 1RM, the kid who's deadlifting 315 can likely pull close to 405. And it's because those grinding reps where always you need a spotter and your technique is shit, you don't get strong from them. You get weaker and you also beat up your body in the long term. So coaches, I'm putting it on you. Guard your keep with all exercises. On split squats, why do I see athletes or coaches allowing athletes to bounce their knee off the floor? I don't give two shits that you have a pad under his or her knee. You're beating up their knee, and that's not what they need to do. Once in a while, I get it. Sometimes an athlete is going to pull so heavy, the back gets a little bit out of position, but those things have to be rare to never, because those experiences of poor technique open up a can of worms for injury. And when a coach is allowing an athlete to do that on the regular, you don't build an athlete. You build a shitty weightlifter, a shitty power lifter. So when it comes to the squat, bench, and deadlift, you never kill those exercises. You work them. If you kill them, they kill you. At the high school, we started learning how to do the hang power clean. I taught them with the empty bar, and then we went with a quarter. Then the next day we added another barbell with a 35 on each side. And then the next time was a barbell with a 45 on each side. They do speed work on the hang power clean. So they got 95, 115, and 135. They go heavier when they do their squat variations, their deadlift variations, sumo, trap bar deadlift. But the clean, in my opinion, at the high school level is a speed and technique lift. Oh yeah, I've seen kids down in South Carolina cleaning 315. Good for them. I love it. They're doing full cleans. To me, that takes a lot of effing time to get kids to that proficiency. And also as a coach, I don't want to go down that road of where I'm nervous about that exercise, because the mindset of a 15, 16, 17-year-old is not the same attitude in the weight room when you are 19, 20, 21. And yes, I reposted the freshman from West Point doing a full clean at 335. Beautiful, beautiful. Let me tell you how common that is. It is so damn rare. I mean, 1 in 1,000 kids who are freshmen in college are going to have a beautiful full clean at 335. Kudos to West Point strength and conditioning staff. I'm watching their videos. Beautiful technique. But I wouldn't be shocked if that kid had a real solid strength training background with somebody before that. And then again, I also wouldn't be shocked if he didn't, because he's got great coaches. Now, that being said, I'm going to circle back to this. You need to push yourself as a coach to be great. To my right are books piled, strength and conditioning books. Bookshelf here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shelves, another 5 shelves, books on top of that one. That's 6 shelves. I have a cabinet of books over there with old school strength books from the early 1900s. In front of me, I've got to have close to 100 old health and strength magazines, muscular development magazines, old training manuals from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, the 60s from when West Side Barbell was created in Culver City by Bill Peanuts West. And so you need to not only study, but you also must lift. You need to know what it's like to be in the shoes of somebody who has to get psyched up to maintain technique during that grinder of a deadlift, during that grinder of a bench press, because ultimately technique wins. You've got to be technique, by the way, is a sign of strength. The strongest guys have the best technique. I'm sure there are some, how do you say, like they stand out. They do things wrong, but they somehow get the job done. Those are not the norms. Those are not the commonplace athletes or lifters. If we're looking at what 97% of the kids need, it's technique. And so sub-max effort, never missing reps, and being able to make the first and last rep look identical. So do these young kids need to max out 1 rep max? Absolutely not. Can they still lift heavy, doing doubles, triples, and 5s? Absolutely. But they should not be allowed to perform half reps, poor technique. And now you're fooling the kids. This is why we have kids telling coaches, oh yeah, I squat 405. Okay, show me. They get to 225. They can't even go all the way down. So how the F is somebody getting paid to allow a kid to squat halfway down with more than twice as much weight as he or she could handle? We got to do a better job. And I think that's a big reason why there will always be a lot of division in the strength and conditioning field, is because some people don't want to learn, or they jump into coaching and they already think they're good enough. And the only thing and place they learn from is Instagram and a few, fitness influencers on YouTube. No, you need to learn through training. You need to learn through hands-on seminars, through books where you're really absorbing information, and videos. YouTube is a great resource, but not everything on YouTube is a great resource. So I'm not ranting here. I want coaches to understand that we got to do better. We got to do a great job. If we're squatting, it's not a half squat. If it's a half squat, it's a 0. If we're benching and the wrist is bent and the kid is humping the ceiling and squirming, it's a 0. Stop allowing athletes to hump the ceiling when they bench press. Don't allow a power clean to look like a back bend jumping jack. Don't allow a deadlift to look like a dog shitting razor blades. Don't allow shitty technique. Hold the standard. That's the bottom line. I'm Zach Evanesh. You could go to zachstrength.com. I've got a free training course for you. I want to thank my friends at sorenex.com, the leaders in strength training equipment. Check them out, or hit me up if you have questions about Sorenex. I've been purchasing their equipment since 2003. And if you're here on YouTube, please drop a comment below. If you're a hater, I'll block you. I ain't got time for haters. Remember, I don't see bees convincing flies that honey is better than shit. I ain't got time for the haters. See you later, guys, and thanks for watching. I'm out of here.